Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
News Radio WCCF, AM 1580 and 100.9 FM. From the Friendly Floors News Radio WCCF broadcast studio, located on US 41 just south of Conway, Port Charlotte. News Radio WCCF is available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now, number one for podcasting, WCCF is an iHeartRadio station.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller. You know what? I have done hundreds of interviews over the years. I've never been more excited to do this interview than I am with one of my all-time heroes in show business. The man of 1,000 voices, master impressionist, Rich Little. Rich, how are you?
I'm fine, but I think a lot of your viewers probably don't know who I am. If they're younger, yeah.
I got to tell you, everybody in my age group, and I've talked about this for days before you came on here, but we all grew up doing impressions of you doing impressions. And I bet you I had every one of your comedy albums. You had, what, 9?
Albums?
Right.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So let me get mine out of the way. I'm sure you get this all the time. Look, my Johnny Carson, I did not know that.
Johnny Carson?
Johnny was...
Okay. Did you hear the news? Yesterday, John Scobie, the world's greatest crossword puzzle addict, died yesterday. And tomorrow they're going to bury him 4 feet down and 6 feet across. That's a typical Carson joke. That's kind of corny, you know.
And you filled in for Carson many times.
Yeah, 23 times.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And how was that experience the first time you filled in for Johnny Carson?
Oh, that was terror. I mean, when you think about how many viewers he had,
right,
and filling in for Johnny Carson, there was a lot of pressure there.
Right.
And you had to really calm yourself down because, that was tough to do, And those Dean Martin roasts were tough to do, too.
Oh, yeah.
They were so popular, and you were performing in front of some of the greats of Hollywood. So that was a lot of pressure. That was a lot of pressure, too.
Not just not doing the show in front of a lot of greats, making fun of them as you went. I rewatched the roast you did of Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
And you were teaching Jimmy Stewart how to do Jimmy Stewart.
That's right. And then when he finally did it, it was terrible. That's the worst Jimmy Stewart I've ever heard.
And that's the first impression you ever did?
Yeah, that was the first impression that I ever did. I remember seeing a movie called The Far Country with Jimmy Stewart, a Western. And I came home and I sat down at the dinner table and I asked my mom for a piece of apple pie. I want some pie. And then I found out that was the name of Jimmy's horse, was Pie.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote him in all his Western movies.
We're talking to the legendary Rich Little here on the National Defense. And another fantastic show that I used to love was the one that you were on called The Copycats. And what a great show that was. Groundbreaking and very unique. A bunch of incredible impressionists. And that show must have gotten great ratings.
Well, hardly anybody remembers it, really.
Well, I tried to find it on YouTube. I can't find anything on YouTube.
No, I know. There's no record of it anywhere. It was filmed in England,
Oh, I did not know that.
And we had a lot of great impersonators on the show. And we brought a lot of big stars over to do the show. And it was amazing how many big stars we got because they got a chance to do impressions. And it was funny to hear, like, Robert Young do an impression of W.C. Fields, It was unique, But Tony Curtis came over.
Wow.
And Debbie Reynolds and Orson Welles. We had a lot of great people on that show.
another guy that was an impressionist on this show, Frank Gorshin. What a great talent he was, too, right?
Great impersonator, too.
Yeah. What did he do, the Joker or the Riddler? He did the Riddler.
The Riddler, yeah.
Oh, that was such a great show. And another one of my absolute favorites of yours is Paul Lynde. I mean, he's an animal.
Oh, God. Paul was funny, wasn't he? It was the way he delivered the line.
Right, right.
He was sucking on a bad lemon, you know. And some of the answers he gave were hysterical, you know. Well, when a man gives a great performance, it's customary to say, bravo, bravo. What do you say when a woman gives a great performance? Mind if I smoke?
You know, he couldn't do that show today, could he?
I don't know. Today it's a different ball game, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And now you're out in Vegas. You're still performing, right?
Yeah, I'm performing at the Tropicana Hotel. I've been there 7 years. I went to the Tropicana to do a couple of weeks, and here we are 7 years later, and I'm still at the Tropicana 4 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday.
Wow. That has to be a great show. How long does the show last?
A little over an hour. And I show a lot of film clips, you know.
Yeah.
One thing to do the impression of somebody famous, but when I show me working with them, the audience really loves that. And, you know, you see me working with George Burns and Bob Hope and Dean Martin. You know, Dean was incredible.
I want to ask you about Dean Martin because obviously you guys were fairly close, and you did a lot of the celebrity roasts, like you mentioned. You did a Dean Martin, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Dean Martin. Did you hear? There was a loud scream in the operating room this morning, and the doctor was heard to say, "Nurse, are you an idiot? I told you to take off his spectacles.
We are talking to Rich Little here of the National Defense. Oh, what? Okay, so born in Canada, Ottawa, right?
Yeah.
I think I read where your big break in America came on the Judy Garland show.
That's right.
How did that happen?
1964. Yeah. And Mel Torme, the singer, and a couple of Canadian writers who had written me my club act, they were instrumental in getting me on the Judy Garland show.
Oh, man.
It started my career in the U.S. Judy Garland.
What a first show to do.
Yeah.
And I understand, so you auditioned for her and Mel Torme, and you just broke her up.
Well, the thing is, Mel Torme and I did a variety show in Toronto, and he told me he was going to be doing special material for the Judy Garland show. And he said, I want to put you on the show, or see if I can get you on the show. So I put a lot of my impressions on the tape, and then he took it over to Judy Garland's place and played her the tape, and hoping to get me on the show. But Judy didn't want to hear the tape. She said, now, what do you hear this? She said to Mel, I don't like impersonators. They make me fart.
They make me fart?
That's what she said to Mel. Isn't that amazing? That little girl from Kansas said that.
Right.
When he said, well, just listen to a few of his impressions. And she reluctantly did. And when I did my impression of James Mason, who made a movie with her, Star is Born, that was the clincher to get me on the Judy Garland show. James Mason.
That is great. Well, I saw you do a Joe Biden the other day.
Yeah, I'm doing Joe Biden. They say he's sort of Mr. Magoo, isn't he?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with Joe Biden. I don't think the liberals are too happy about that. But, you know, I go after all presidents. You know,
absolutely. I mean, you did them all.
I went after Reagan, then Jimmy Carter.
You actually look a little bit like Ronald Reagan now. Has anybody told you that?
Well, you know, which does me so good. that I thought when I passed away, they should have buried him.
Did you ever?
I love Ronald Reagan.
Did you ever do a Don Adams?
Don Adams, talk into your shoe. Not really, but yeah, he was popular back in the Get Smart days.
Well,
yeah.
And Rich, you were on all those shows. You were on Petticoat Junction.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was looking up the other day, and I added up that I was on 85 different television shows in my career. 85.
It's got to be a record.
Everything from The Flying Nun to Love American Style to, oh my God, to the Boston Pops. You know, a lot of shows.
And then I saw your piece on CBS Sunday Morning, I guess about a couple of years ago, year and a half ago, and you were talking about a play that you were doing, right?
Yeah, I did a play last summer called Trial on the Potomac about the Nixon, scandal and how he resigned and everything. And it's a very interesting play. It's not a comedy. It was a drama. And I did it in New York during the pandemic, and it didn't do that well because nobody was going out.
Nobody's going out to theater, sure.
Pretty good show, but COVID killed it, really.
Wow. And that was something that you wrote?
No, I didn't write it. No.
But now you always wrote your own material, right?
Well, yeah. In my act, I write all my own material, but that was written by Jeff Shepard, who worked with Nixon way back in the early days.
There are other automakers in Detroit, but there's only one that's built for Detroit. Ford. The motor company that remembers the Motor City who birthed it. The one restoring the old train station. The one that employs more hourly workers in the U.S. than any other automaker. The one that assembles more vehicles in the U.S. than any other manufacturer. The one that supplied PPE to frontline workers in Detroit and assembled ventilators and respirators when the U.S. needed them. The one with a football field in Detroit named after the century-old family-led business started right here in Detroit. Built for Detroit. Built for America. Built Ford proud. Based on Center for Automotive Research data. Based on IHS Market CYE 2019 U.S. light vehicle production data. Assembled with U.S. and imported content.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop. Download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
I'm Dan, and I'm a manager of supplier diversity at the Walt Disney Company. I enlisted in the Army when I was 17 years old, did a quick 30 years after that, and got out in 2017. Leaving that after 30 years, it's a scary thing. Figuring out how do I get where I want to be, that was the biggest challenge. I was looking for a company that I felt just as proud to work for that I did while I was in uniform. I remember one day I was driving home, and I said, I'm going to be a cast member at Walt Disney World. A few weeks later, it happened, so it was just a seamless transition, and I knew I'd made the right decision on which company I'd come to.
With over 20 years of generous community support, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post-9/11 veterans and their families with no-cost services, legislative advocacy, and more. And we're just getting started. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Hello, this is Steve Keeker, President of Senior Care Consulting. I'm so excited to announce that we are expanding nationwide by awarding Senior Care Consulting franchises. We help our clients find the right senior care community, including assisted living, memory care, long-term care, and continuing care retirement communities. We are not another run-of-the-mill free referral service. We're very different. We offer a placement service with integrity. Owning a Senior Care Consulting franchise offers many benefits. Our market is not affected by the economy. Operate from your home office and enjoy work-life balance. Pour your passion into a business you can be proud of. For more information about owning a senior care consulting franchise, call 833-722-3726, 833-722-3726, or visit seniorcareconsulting.com.
Thanks to generous community support, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post-9/11 veterans and their families since 2003 through no-cost physical and mental health services, legislative advocacy, career assistance, and life skill training. We're there every step of the journey.
It's possible to feel understood, to get support when it's needed most.
And now I know anything is possible.
And we're just getting started. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
The word never carries a lot of weight. Never forget, never settle, never surrender. And now Dodge is proud to announce Never Lift, the full throttle rally cry of stepping on the gas and never letting up. With the 475 horsepower Durango SRT 392 and the muscle car dynamic duo Dodge Charger and Challenger, and the introduction of Dodge Power Brokers, your official dealer for legendary direct connection performance parts. For more on the Never Lift mindset, go to Dodge.com. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
What was it like working with Don Rickles?
Don Rickles, to me, was the funniest man that ever lived.
Yeah.
Once you accept the fact that he's just putting you on and having fun.
Right.
If you're sensitive, you didn't like him, and a lot of people didn't like him.
Yeah, right.
They didn't understand him.
Yeah.
But he was the fastest comedian that ever lived. I mean, when he would deliver a line, he was thinking about not only the next line he was going to give, but the one after that. It was amazing how fast he was.
Oh,
the only other person I could think was as fast as Don Rickles was Robin Williams.
Well, I was going to say Jonathan Winters, which was
Jonathan Winters.
Yeah.
They were pretty quick too.
Yeah. Well, I got to see Rickles about 2 years before he died, just outside of Vegas, and he still had every bit of it. Every bit of it.
Yeah. Well, at the end, I saw him a couple of months before he passed away at the Orleans in Vegas, and he was sitting in a chair because he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And he just sat in a chair, and the audience just loved him. So even though he wasn't really that funny, because it was nearing the end, they still applauded and laughed like crazy. And he was one of the greats.
Yeah,
one of the
absolutely one of the greats. We're talking to Rich Little here in the National Defense. Did you, if I recall, did you do a Fred McMurray?
Oh, Fred McMurray, my three sons. Yeah, I did Fred McMurray. Fred McMurray had that kind of a voice, and I got to know him a little bit, too. He was a big fan of Ronald Reagan. And I used to see him when I used to go and see Reagan at the White House, and he was usually there, It's amazing. Back in the 60s, when I, first started to make some headway in show business, all the movie stars were Republicans. Huh. And they're mostly liberals.
Yeah. And a lot of them had been in the military.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember going to a party at Richard Nixon's place in San Clemente, and all of Hollywood was there.
Wow.
It was amazing. And Debbie Reynolds threw me at the back of Richard Nixon.
This holiday season's sweetest prize is in your mailbox. Valpak's bringing savings in your home this December, and you could find $100 Christmas cash inside your envelope. Seasonal savings and over $100,000 in total surprises at the most magical time of the year. Check out what this recent instant winner had to say.
You guys made my day. That was pretty amazing.
Look for your envelope this month to find out if you're a winner. And happy holidays from Valpak. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. See specially marked Valpak envelopes or Valpak.com for details.
I'm Jay Gansey with Southwest Florida's Ram headquarters, Cape Coral Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
During the wrap-up the year event, get 21% off MSRP on select new 2023 Ram 1500 light duties in stock.
Don't overpay. Come see me, Jay, for the best price in Southwest Florida, period.
Bad decisions limit future options. Stop adversity from becoming stress. Listen to The Plot Line with host Rick Hughes Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on WCCF. Learn problem-solving devices built on God's Word. For inspiration, education, all without manipulation. The Plot Line, Sundays at 8:30 a.m.
There's something very dangerous in your home.
There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your home. There's something very dangerous in your h
It could be hiding in a closet or waiting in the basement. It's not sharp or toxic or flammable, yet it helps send more people to the trauma center than any other household item.
Hey, hon, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
To scoop out a few leaves? I'll be down in a heartbeat. Whoa!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. Ask any of the 150,000 people who fell off their ladders into the trauma center last year alone. Don't let a do-it-yourself project do yourself in. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well-connected.
And then you know what he said to me? I can't wait to try that out on Gorbachev. Could you imagine the President of the United States doing tribute supporting for Gorbachev? Oh, I would have given a year's salary to see that.
Yeah. We're talking to the legendary Rich Little here on the National Defense. And Rich, as I explained, most of our audience is active duty military veterans and their families. And you said you've done a USO tour.
Well, I've done a few things for the troops, in my past. I can't really remember what, but and then all the merchandise that I sell after my show. Not lately because of COVID, but in the past, I used to sell all my tapes and my drawings and everything, and then all the money went to the troops.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And Gary Sinise Foundation.
The Gary Sinise Foundation, absolutely.
That's the best place to send your money, really.
Absolutely. We've had Gary on the show many times. He's a great American.
He's a great guy and a great American and does a lot for our troops.
It would be tough to do a Gary Sinise. It'd be tough to do a Gary Sinise.
No, I can't do a Gary Sinise.
What about, what would Bob Hope think about you selling merchandise for the troops?
Bob Hope? Rich, that's great. You're selling all this junk to the troops, And too bad you're not making any money. Anyway, gang, I got to tell you, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, this is such a blast. We do a regular segment on the show, Rich, called Got Your Six. It's 6 rapid-fire questions, but I'm going to ask them to all different people.
Oh, boy.
What do you got in the cup there, Rich?
Just coffee, what is it? Coffee, a mocha. Yeah.
All right.
Like that latte, really.
To Johnny Carson, what was your favorite thing about Ed McMahon?
But he didn't take over from Johnny Carson.
To Joe Biden, what is your favorite room in the White House?
The basement.
To Howard Cosell, what are your thoughts about Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali was one of the all-time greats. My thoughts about Muhammad Ali, I can't remember who he is.
To Paul Lynn, what are your thoughts on TV these days, Paul?
Oh, it's disgusting. The filth that's on TV. We should get it made into dust.
And Ronald Reagan, what was your favorite thing? You had a lot of things on the ranch. What was your favorite thing to ride?
Bonzo.
And Carol Channing, can you just sing one for us?
Carol Channing. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. Oh, isn't that marvelous?
Rich Little. This has made my year already, and it's just January. Man, it's been such a treat. You got a book coming out?
Yeah. I'm re-releasing it. I put it. It came out about 5 years ago, and I've re-released it in a couple of new chapters and a new cover. And it's called "People I Have Known and Been." Get it on Amazon.com.
Is that Groucho up there?
And a lot of my sketches are in here. You know,
that's right. That's right. I was going to ask you about your sketches.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of drawings, sir. One of my all-time favorites, Rugby.
And that's your drawing?
Yeah, all these are my drawings. So everybody I talk about in the book, I did a drawing of, and there's Carol, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's excellent. Wow.
And so everybody I talk about, and it's not a biography. It's interesting things that have happened and funny things that have happened with me and celebrities down through the years. But it's kind of a fun book, you know. I knew Robert Goulet. Do you remember Bob?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, great guy.
Did you? Is that book available everywhere?
Yeah. Pick it up on Amazon.com.
We don't have to come to Las Vegas and get it.
No, I don't think it's in the bookstores, but if you ask for it, they may get it. I don't know.
You know, we're based in Kansas City, Missouri, and our Chiefs were just in Vegas.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, do you follow football?
Yeah, I do watch a lot of football. You know, I'm not rooting for anybody, but
right.
I'm not a big Raider fan. But
good for you.
Cloudy people there.
Yeah. Right.
And every time I go to the Tropicana on a Sunday, I'd have to leave an hour earlier.
Right. Yeah, it's okay to hate the Raiders. I mean, you know. Hey, Rich, it's been such a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. Just an honor to talk to you, and you've been so entertaining in my life for so many years, so thank you.
Well, thanks, Randy. I appreciate that.
We'll be right back here in the National Defense.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure, if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plan. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When Freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
We're News Radio 1580 AM WCCF Punta Gorda and FM 100.9 W265 EA Punta Gorda.
Israeli Defense Forces move deeper into Gaza, central Gaza. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. The war between Israel and Hamas intensifying. More from Fox's Matt Finn.
The IDF says it's engaging in fierce battles with Hamas, striking terror cells by land and sea with the help of the Israeli Navy. Israel says it has killed dozens of terrorists in this latest campaign. Also, the IDF says its aircraft targeted 3 terrorist squads in Lebanon and struck Hezbollah targets there. The IDF says there were numerous launches from Lebanon into Israel and intercepted at least one. And for the first time since Israel launched ground operations, the IDF says it's attacking the exact kibbutz or town that served as the base for Hamas militants before they crossed into Israel for the October 7th terror attack.
Hamas-run health officials in Gaza reporting more than 21,000 Palestinian deaths. President Biden is facing harsh criticism over his administration's handling of the southern border. It may be negatively impacting his poll numbers. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports from the U.S. Virgin Islands, where President Biden is vacationing.
President Biden is the most unpopular president running for re-election since the end of World War II.
new, according to several polls, and many blame the southern border for contributing to that. There have been 286,000 migrants encountered at the southern border in December. That's the highest total in a month ever in American history, breaking the previous record set 3 months ago. There have been 770,000 migrant encounters since October 1st, making the first quarter of this new fiscal year also the highest ever. The White House press secretary recently said these numbers are not unusual and ripped Texas Governor Greg Abbott for busing migrants to big cities like New York.
When asked about the poll numbers, the president telling reporters, "You're reading the wrong polls." America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Dana Perino, co-host of The Five and co-anchor of America's Newsroom. Join me for my brand new podcast, Perino on Politics. Listeners of Everything Will Be Okay will gravitate toward this podcast too. Every Monday, I'm going to talk to people I trust in politics as they tell me what they're seeing and thinking in the 2024 election cycle. As they prep me to cover the upcoming election, they'll prep you, the voters, too. Make sure you subscribe to this series on FoxNewsPodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts and leave a rating and review.
From the Fox News Podcast Network.
Hey there, it's me, Kennedy. Make sure to check out my podcast, Kennedy Saves the World. It is 5 days a week. Every week, we check in with Jimmy Fallon, bring in authors for the book club, and even treat some of your favorite Fox personalities to a very special happy hour. Download and listen at FoxNewsPodcast.com or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Kennedy Saves the World. America is listening to Fox News.
U.S. prosecutors are urging a federal appeals court to reject former President Trump's claim that he is immune from criminal charges for seeking to overturn his defeat in the 2020 election. Special counsel Jack Smith's legal team said in a filing today there's no legal tradition that would support such immunity. Lawyers for Trump have argued allowing Trump to be charged for conduct related to his official responsibilities would undermine the presidency. Former President Trump is vowing to fight two states planning to keep him off the 2024 ballot. Fox's Alexandria Hoff.
Multiple sources have confirmed to Fox News that the Trump legal team has their sights set on Tuesday to appeal the ballot decisions made in Colorado and Maine. Right now, there are at least a dozen states where lawsuits seek to bar Trump from the ballot. They're all going about it a bit differently, but all utilizing a Civil War-era clause in the Constitution to argue that a person involved in an insurrection can't be elected to public office. What makes Maine unique at this point is that this is the first state where the Secretary of State, Shanna Bellows, took action unilaterally as opposed to Colorado, where the decision came from the state Supreme Court.
A similar move to ban the former president from California's ballot was rejected by their Secretary of State. Russia is vowing to retaliate against an attack made by Ukraine.
Dozens of deaths and hundreds of injuries on both sides as the war between Russia and Ukraine rages on for almost 23 months. The number of deaths from Russia's largest air attack on Ukraine rising to at least 39 on Saturday. Russia launching 158 missiles and drones on cities and towns across Ukraine on Friday. Ukraine officials calling that the worst aerial bombardment since the start of the war. Meantime, Russia saying at least 18 people, including children, were killed and over 100 others injured in Ukrainian strikes on the Russian provincial capital of Belgorod on Saturday. Russia is vowing to retaliate. Paul Stevens, Fox News.
I'm Ann Carrick, and this is Fox News. Happy New Year.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons the freedom to read their way.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program.
For more information, call 1-888-NLS-READ.
This weather report powered by Ray's Complete Plumbing, your water heater expert. Ray's Complete Plumbing, available 24 hours a day, voted best plumber for the past 17 years. Call 941-629-2500 and we'll be right over.
Expect a pleasant day ahead of you with a mix of sun and clouds. High temperatures are likely to reach around 67 degrees. And as we move into the evening, temperatures are expected to drop around 47 degrees. With your weather update, I'm James Birmingham.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Can't decide what to make for your holiday dinner? Then join the free Fresh from Florida Club at freshfromflorida.com and start creating the perfect holiday menu with local in-season ingredients. It could be the easiest decision you'll make all year.
Happy and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Check it out, Limu. A roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look! An emu wearing sunglasses!
Emu? Famous? Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
We still believe the American dream. His last breath he'll always be a soldier.
Heard on great radio stations all across America. It's the National Defense.
Welcome to the National Defense, made possible by Ford, by the Home Depot, by T-Mobile, by Prevagen, and by the Wounded Warrior Project.
Oh, man, what a holiday season we are having. Hope you had a great Christmas, great holiday, fantastic New Year, and an incredible 2024. We've got something special for you this week. It is the best of the best conversations we've had in 2023. We got comedy, we got singers, we got dancers, we've got heroes, and it's all for you this week, right here on the National Defense. Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and the funniest guy in Florida is with us. Dave Barry is here. Man, Dave, I have read so much of your stuff. It's always hilarious, and you got a new novel, first new novel in a decade, Swamp Story, that is out. How was your vacation?
What vacation?
Well, the decade.
Oh. Okay. Well, hey, I was doing other things, but I wasn't writing novels. I wrote other books. But and also, I appreciate you calling me the funniest man in Florida, but there are many, many highly competitive people out down there being funny without even trying to be funny. So I don't know if I could possibly measure up to that kind of competition.
You know, it's so true. And every time you hear a weird, odd, immoral, any kind of story, you know it's Florida. And, you know, you have done such a great job of pointing that out over the years. Dave, do you think you would have been as successful if you lived in Omaha?
Absolutely not. I mean, you don't hear people talk about Omaha man the way they talk about Florida man. But I do want to say, you're absolutely correct that, you know, we are used to seeing Florida man stories, and almost always, you know, somebody's done something ridiculous, stupid, evil, disgusting, whatever, and it's always Florida. But I just need to say, there are 21 million people in Florida, and it's not really fair to judge all 21 million of us just because of the actions of 19 million of us. There's sort of a few people in Florida who are not weird, and it's not fair to smear them.
People, for some reason, people lie about why they moved to Florida. I've got a buddy of mine who's in radio, and he moved to Miami, where you live. He moved to Miami because he loves the beach. He's on the 27th floor of a high-rise, and he never goes to the beach. So I still can't figure it out, but, you know, these kind of things.
No, I also live in Miami. I moved there in 1986 from the United States, and I left Miami, but I have to say, the only time I go to the beach is when somebody visits, you know, and I'll right up there. It's like people in New York who say, we love it here because they have the theater and the opera and the museum, and they never go to the theater.
Well, I got to tell you, Dave, we're talking to Dave Barry here of the National Defense, his new book, Swamp Story. Your book, Dave Barry Turns 40, got me through turning 40, so thank you so much for that. That was very good. And, you know, all of your stuff has been good. And this new book, it's really a novel about Florida and the things that happen in Florida, right?
Yeah, it's called Swamp Story, and the swamp in question is the Everglades, which is right next to Miami, where I live. And if you've ever flown into Miami, you can see it's sort of amazing that there's this gigantic swamp in the middle of the state, and then the urban part is just this little strip on the edge. But you're always, when you're in Miami, you're always within half an hour of real swamp with real alligators and real snakes and really strange people who live out there. So This is a novel about things that can go on out in the Everglades, and it involves kind of the key element is. Have you ever heard of the Python Challenge?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Well, people think I made it up, and I didn't. We have a problem with pythons in South Florida. Burmese pythons, which are these enormous constrictors. They can be 25 feet long. 15 feet long, and originally people had them as pets. That's how they got there, and then people had them as pets. And then they ran out of crack, and they were living as pythons, so they let them go, and the pythons love it down there. They're like New Yorkers. They thrive in South Florida and appreciate the tax break and everything.
I was going to say they also don't pay taxes.
No, the pythons pay no taxes, but they can drive and vote. So anyways, there are like hundreds of thousands of these pythons, and the state of Florida came up with a brilliant way of getting rid of them, which is to hold a contest, the Python Challenge, and invite anybody who wants to come down and kill our snakes. And what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
So you got all these amateurs wandering around trying to kill snakes, and they all have beards, even the women, and they're out there. And every year, they announce the results of the Python Challenge, and it's like they kill a couple hundred of them, which, when you do the math, doesn't really put a dent in the python population. Plus, they're female pythons are laying hundreds of eggs, so the pythons are winning the Python Challenge.
I was just going to say the pythons seem to be winning this deal. I'm sure they look forward to the Python Challenge.
Yeah, because they know they're going to kill us. I mean, so we should have challenged an animal we could defeat. We could have beaten the manatees if we wanted to, but no, we had to challenge the python.
We're talking to Dave Barry here, the National Defense, and his new book, Swamp Story, which apparently Steve Martin really liked.
Yeah, I have 5 blurbs from Steve Martin on the back of my book. And a little secret for those of you not in the publishing business. When you read those blurbs on the back of books, but they're just like the author got his friends to say nice things. But they're never going to say, "Oh, I didn't care for it." They're going to say, "This is a good." So I know Steve, and I asked him to blurb my book, and he was busy shooting a TV show. So he just sent me, 5 blurbs, just to pick one. I used all 5 of them, and the last one is my favorite. It says, "I love this book. I haven't read it yet, but I love it."
I also love, with Swamp Story, Dave Barry combines 2 important elements of literature, a swamp and a story. So good. Yeah. Hey, are you still in your band, the Rock Bottom Reminders?
Remainders.
Oh, I'm sorry, Remainders. Rock Bottom Remainders with Stephen King, right?
Yeah. Although we haven't played lately, but we sometimes occasionally get together, and we're just as bad as we've ever been. Our genre is known as hard listening music, and that's our band.
Well, hey, you did write the Tupperware Blues, which still remains the only blues song ever devoted to Tupperware, I think.
I believe you're correct, and still, you don't see me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They just voted yet again. My name didn't come up.
Well, it's just an oversight. I mean, it's you and Burton Cummings still just hanging out there waiting for
our turn.
Dave, great to talk to you, man, and best of luck on Swamp Story. I can't wait to read it. Sounds hilarious.
Well, thanks, Randy. I appreciate your having me on.
We'll be right back here on the National Defense.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Dan, and I'm a manager of supplier diversity at the Walt Disney Company. I enlisted in the Army when I was 17 years old, did a quick 30 years after that, and got out in 2017. Leaving that after 30 years, it's a scary thing. Figuring out how do I get where I want to be, that was the biggest challenge. I was looking for a company that I felt just as proud to work for that I did while I was in uniform. I remember one day I was driving home, and I said, I'm going to be a cast member at Walt Disney World. A few weeks later, it happened. So it was just a seamless transition, and I knew I'd made the right decision on which company to come to.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snatch, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Hey, as a veteran, you know the importance of staying connected to friends and family. That's why you have to choose T-Mobile. They offer active duty military and veterans exclusive discounts, like 40% off family lines. And they put service members and military spouses first with employment initiatives and ongoing community investments. Visit T-Mobile.com/military to learn more. 40% off additional price for military families lines 2 to 6 versus Go 5G with auto-pay discount. Verify military service within 45 days or pay up to $20 more per line per month. See T-Mobile.com.
Hello, Detroit. It's the Ford Motor Company. This city has changed a lot over the last century. So has America. And we wouldn't have been around for this long if we didn't turn that change into progress. We've pledged to make our most iconic vehicles electric, to provide access to North America's largest public charging network, to use 100% renewable energy across all global manufacturing plants by 2035. And we couldn't have done it without the thousands of Detroiters working with us to turn progress into a reality. We're proud to be built for America. We're even prouder to be built by Detroit. And though we've helped give the Motor City its name, the Motor City has given us our legacy. Built for Detroit. Built for America. Built Ford proud.
Based on IHS Markit CYE 2019 U.S. light vehicle production data. Based on original equipment manufacturers, automotive manufacturers that sell all electric vehicles and have publicly announced charging networks. Department of Energy data used. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via download. Message and data rates may apply.
60 seconds of service. This 60 seconds of service is presented by T-Mobile. T-Mobile offers exclusive discounts for veteran and military families and are proud supporters of the National Defense Network. Visit T-Mobile.com to learn more about how they support our military community. In Roanoke, Virginia, they're making a difference, one veteran at a time. I can't improve their lives by much, but at least I can improve it for today. Frame co-founder Rochelle Savitsky said. Savitsky is one of the founders of Family Readiness and Military Ease, or FRAME. She wants to make sure veterans in Southwest Virginia aren't overlooked. We definitely need to make sure that this country and this community takes care of our local veterans, she said. FRAME spent the day Saturday giving veterans as well as people who experience homelessness a proper Thanksgiving meal. Kitchen head Tammy Waters said anyone could come get a meal, winter clothes, and even a haircut. For more great veteran stories, just go to nationaldefensenetwork.com.
This is your Check It Out Minute with Mark Saltzman, brought to you by Asus.
Let's face it, just about everything these days requires a password. From social media to logging into work to online shopping. It can get very difficult to keep track of all your various logins and passwords. Here to help us is Gary Ornstein from Bitwarden, a leading company in password management.
Bitwarden makes a password manager that's also involved with multi-factor authentication, serving both individuals and businesses to help them stay safe online. And that involves keeping track of your logins, secure notes, other information that you want to remain fully encrypted and safe. It's easy, it's available on all of your devices, mobile platforms, desktop operating systems, so allows both individuals and businesses to really get a hold of their sensitive information, keep it secure, and manage passwords easily.
Find out more at bitwarden.com or download the app from your favorite app store.
That was your Check It Out Minute, brought to you by Asus.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller and Ken Jennings. You know the name. He was an anonymous Salt Lake City software engineer in 2004 when he unexpectedly became a TV celebrity after his record